It's 2 a.m. in small-town Maine. The house is quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the occasional click of my mouse. I'm at the kitchen table, blue light from the laptop washing over a neat little lineup of car wrecks and storm damage. This is what an unimpressive life looks like, I guess. Middle-aged man in sweatpants, logging claim notes while the rest of the town sleeps. Kelly's at the island behind me, barefoot, robe tied loose, working on her third glass of Chardonnay. I hear the glass tap the quartz a little harder than necessary. That's her warm-up noise. Means she's about to feel something and blame me for it. Jack? She says, drawing my name out like chewing gum. Do you ever think about, I don't know, upgrading? I scroll through a file. From flood policies? Every day. She laughs, but it's sharp. No. Your life. Our life. There it is. I close one eye to zoom in on a dented fender. We've got a roof, no debt, working cars, and the power bills paid. That's an upgrade from half the people I adjust claims for. You know that's not what I mean. She refills her glass. I don't need it. She's already where she wants to be. Tiffany was talking about Brandon tonight. Of course she was. Tiffany Ross and her human Instagram filter. Brandon Cole. Real estate hotshot. BMW. Teeth too white for a Maine winter. Weekend posts from Napa like he lives there. I let the silence sit. She hates that. He just does things. She pushes on. Spontaneous trips. Big gestures. He took her to Napa again. First class. She swirls the wine, eyes on the glass. She said it's nice being with someone impressive. The word hangs there. Impressive. I finish the last note on the claim, hit save, and finally look up. And Tiffany thought I'd enjoy hearing that. Why? Kelly doesn't flinch. She's been building to this. Practicing it, maybe. She said she doesn't know how I do it. Being married to someone so steady, reliable. She forces a smile. Not everyone wants reliability, Jack. Some women want more. Ah, I say. So I've been demoted from my husband to not impressive enough. Good to know where I stand. She rolls her eyes. Don't be dramatic. I'm just saying I could have done better. I settled. There's a part of me that wants to bark back, slam a fist, make a scene. Instead, I let it slide over me like cold water. Then maybe you should aim higher, I say quietly. Nothing stops you. She blinks. That wasn't the comeback she expected. What's that supposed to mean? It means, I say, closing the laptop. If you want Brandon's life, go see if he's hiring. Or if he's taking applications. Her jaw tightens. You're being an ass. I'm being honest. I stand, stretch my back. In fact, I've been doing some upgrading of my own. Suspicion flickers in her eyes. What did you do? I lean against the chair, arms crossed. I canceled the country club birthday party and the surprise weekend in Boston. She freezes, wine halfway to her mouth. You what? Called the club this afternoon. Refunded the deposit. Canceled the hotel too. Turns out those places really appreciate advance notice. Very impressed by it, actually. Her face goes pale, then red. You can't just, Jack. Everyone's expecting. That's the thing. I cut in. I stopped caring what everyone is expecting. Especially the ones measuring me by Brandon's wine list. She slams the glass down this time. Chardonnay sloshes over the rim. You're punishing me because my friends. No, I say. My voice stays level. I'm adjusting the claim. She stares. What claim? The one you filed tonight when you told me I wasn't enough. I shrug. Policy didn't cover that kind of damage. So I pulled the assets. She narrows her eyes. What assets? Our joint savings. I let that sink in slow and steady. Moved it into an account under my name. Perfectly legal. You'd be amazed what 2 decades of protecting other people's money teaches you about protecting your own. For a second, she forgets to breathe. You moved our money without telling me? After you made it clear I was a bad investment. I say, yeah, I did. You can't do that, she spits. That's legal, I repeat. Very legal. And very documented. I'll email you a copy of the statement if you'd like. Impressive, even. Her hand tightens around the stem of the glass. I can see the veins in her wrist. She looks like she wants to throw the whole counter at me. You're overreacting, she says. I just vented. Tiffany was drinking, we were talking, it came out wrong. You're really going to blow up our life over one comment. No, I tell her. I'm going to protect mine over a pattern. One comment just finally made it interesting. She glares at me like I'm a stranger in her kitchen. Maybe I am. Maybe I've been a stranger in my own house for a while and just didn't notice. You're not going anywhere, she says. You're not that guy. I push the chair in, nice and neat. Maybe I wasn't. Tonight I am. I walk past her, out of the kitchen, down the short hall to the back door. The cold hits me when I step onto the porch. Pine, damp earth, the faint smell of oil from the workshop I built when we first moved here. My little kingdom of tools and order where things either work or they don't. No pretending. I flip on the workshop lights. Wooden benches, pegboard, everything in its place. I unlock the drawer where I keep the electronics I've tinkered with over the years. Cheap cameras, motion sensors, stuff I picked up, just in case. My gut hasn't stopped buzzing since she said, settled. Since she mentioned Brandon and Napa like a sales brochure. I've seen enough fraud cases to know when a story doesn't add up. Marriages aren't any different. You hear a crack, you start checking the beams. I take out a small camera, turn it over in my hands and start planning angles. Hallway, kitchen, backyard. Just in case things move from insults to actions. Back in the house, I hear it. A sharp, bright shatter. Her wine glass exploded on the tile. I don't flinch. I started installing cameras. Things I know are about to get interesting. The phone drags me out of sleep like a hook in the ribs. I'm in the guest room now. Been there since the night of the demotion. Old mattress, thinner pillow, better air. The clock on the dresser reads 4:17 a.m. in hazy red numbers. And the ringtone is that default chime I never got around to changing. Reliable to the end. I fumble for the phone. Miller. There's chaos on the other end. Laughter, music, someone shouting about shots. Then a voice I know way too well. Jack. Tiffany. Slurred. On the edge of crying. Oh my God. Thank God you picked up. My brain's still booting. Tiff, you know what time it is. It's bad. She blurts. Kelly's. Jack, her card declined. At the restaurant. In front of everyone. I sit up, swing my legs over the side. Old instincts kick in. Caller upset. Identify loss. Quantify damage. Start at the top. Where are you? We're at. She names a downtown place that does nice steaks and overpriced cocktails. We did, like, a house party version of her birthday. Then we came here. Brandon said we should make it special and, so you threw the party anyway. I say, without the club. Got it. Jack. The bill is like $4,000. She chokes on the number. They tried to run your joint card. It declined. The account is empty. The manager is standing here and Kelly is freaking out and I can hear my wife in the background, voice pitched high, demanding the machine run it again. Demanding someone call me. Demanding the universe bend. I rub my face. It's not empty. It's just not common anymore. What? Tiffany gasps. I keep my tone level. 3 nights ago, after Kelly explained I wasn't impressive enough, I moved the savings to an individual account. All legal. All documented. I mentioned this. You can't be serious, she whispers. Very serious. And I'm very awake now. I raise my voice a notch. Kelly, you there? There's shuffling, a clatter. Then her voice, jagged and furious. What the hell did you do? Adjusted the policy. I say. You told me I was the wrong kind of husband. I stopped funding the fantasy package. You're humiliating me, she hisses. In front of everyone. They just watched my card get declined, Jack. Actions, consequences. I say. You wanted Brandon's world. Ask him to pick up the tab. 6-figure guys usually love that kind of spotlight. The background noise dips, like the room is listening. You bastard, she says, low and mean. You vindictive, small. You told your friends you settled. I cut in. Consider this my way of setting you free. Tiffany's back on the line, crying out right now. Jack, they're saying they'll call the cops if we don't pay something. The manager can run my personal card for the $40 Kelly actually had permission to spend. I say, anything beyond that? Not my problem. Jack, please. I suggest, I say, that Kelly asks her impressive boyfriend to handle the rest. Good night, Tiffany. I hang up. For a moment I just sit there in the dark, phone still in my hand, feeling the quiet spread. This is what it feels like to stop being the emergency contact. The designated driver. The human credit line. It's lighter than I expected. I get up, dress in jeans and a flannel, and pack a small duffel. Couple changes of clothes, meds, the backup drive with all my files. I move like a man taking a sick day, not running. I leave my wedding ring on the nightstand. Let her find that later. Keys, wallet, phone. I step out into the cold, climb into my truck, and start the engine. The sky's black, no hint of dawn yet. The road to my sister Megan's place is muscle memory, 2 towns over, past the creek, right at the old mill. Megan will give me coffee, a couch, and zero bullshit. She's good at all 3. As I pull onto the main road, I think about the word reliable. How it's only impressive until people start using it like a doormat. How easy it is to stop answering late-night calls and cleaning up other people's messes. I'm maybe 10 minutes out of town. Radio off, tires humming, when headlights flare in my side mirror. Fast. Too fast for this road at this hour. I barely have time to register the dark shape of the car when it jerks into my lane. Coming from the left, no signal, no hesitation. Impact hits like a bomb. Metal screams. My door caves in, shoving me sideways. The wheel slams my hands. The airbag explodes in my face. Glass goes off like a shotgun of ice. The truck spins. I feel the world tilt, weightless and wrong. Headlights smear across trees, then sky, then nothing. We slide off the asphalt down toward the creek. There's another crunch, dull and final. Then silence. No horn, no engine. Just my own ragged breathing and a high whine in my ears. I try to move. I don't. The last thing I smell before the black closes in is wet earth and gasoline. Fluorescent lights. That's the first thing I see. Flat, humming rectangles in a ceiling that's too white, too clean. My eyes burn. My mouth tastes like metal and cotton. I try to turn my head and my neck answers with a dull, distant ache. I try to sit up and nothing happens. Not it hurts. Not it's stiff. Nothing. A face leans into view. Dark hair pulled back. Deep lines around tired eyes. Badge clipped to a white coat. Mr. Miller? Jack? I'm Dr. Martinez. Can you hear me? I work my jaw. It takes more effort than it should. Yeah. Good. He checks a monitor. You've been out for 3 days. You were in a motor vehicle collision. Do you know where you are? Main General. That's what the chart says on the wall. I'm not sharp, but I'm not stupid. He gives a small nod. Do you remember the crash? Truck. Creek. I drag in a breath. Someone hit me. His eyes flick up at that. Clinical interest. We'll have the police come talk to you shortly. Right now, I need to explain your condition. He lifts the sheet, touches my foot. Can you feel this? No. He moves to my thigh. This? No. We work our way up. Knees, hips, stomach. Each no feels like a door closing. Jack, he says finally, voice softer. You've suffered a significant spinal cord injury. Right now, you're paralyzed from the chest down. We don't know yet how much function, if any, will return. We will do everything we can with rehab, but you need to prepare for the possibility this is permanent. The words hit like a second impact. Only this time, everything inside stays still. Permanent. I stare past him at the wall clock. 3 days gone. Life chopped into before and after by a set of headlights. There will be police interviews, he adds. It was a hit and run. They have some leads. But for now, you focus on rest. Hit and run. I file that away. That's not bad luck. That's a choice. The door opens. Perfume walks in before she does. Kelly looks like a magazine spread for devoted wife in crisis. Hair done, makeup soft, cardigan in tasteful gray, eyes red, cheeks damp. She's holding a tissue, wringing it like she's trying to kill it. "Jack!" she breathes, rushing to my side. "Oh my God! You're awake." She grabs my hand like it's a lifeline. I can feel that, at least. Fingers, forearms, just not the rest. "Mrs. Miller," Dr. Martinez says, professional calm back in place. "I was just updating your husband. I'll give you two some time." He squeezes my shoulder, then steps out. The door thunks shut. The room goes quiet except for the beeping. The transformation is instant. Her face unhooks, muscles relaxing out of the performance. The wet, trembling smile drops. "Well," she says, voice lower, cleaner. "That was efficient." I watch her, say nothing. She leans in close, so close I can smell the Chardonnay ghosts under her mint. Her lips barely move. "This is actually perfect," she whispers. My chest tightens. "Sorry. You can't leave now," she goes on, eyes bright in a way that has nothing to do with tears. "Not walking, not working. According to Brandon, paralyzed husbands make the best husbands. They don't complain. They don't chase. They just stay." She smiles like she's sharing a secret recipe. "Try not to drool too much while I'm gone," she adds lightly. "I'm going to tell everyone how brave you're being. They just eat that up." She straightens, flips the switch back on. Eyes glistening, voice trembling. Anyone looking through the glass would see a woman shattered by fate. "Rest, okay?" she says louder. "We're all here for you." She pats my hand, then walks out, leaving that perfume and those words hanging in the air like smoke. Hit and run. Paralyzed husbands. Best husbands. I stare at the ceiling and let the pattern take shape. If Brandon's car was anywhere near that road, it wasn't an accident. And if they think I'm stuck, dumb, and dependent from here on out, that's the first real advantage I've had in years. Being underestimated just became my sharpest weapon. The next 2 weeks are a lesson in what people do when they think you're furniture. Day 1, Kelly is the picture of devotion. Fixing my blanket, kissing my forehead, calling nurses "hon" and "sweetheart" like she owns the place. She posts a picture of us. Me pale and wired up, her holding my hand, captioned, "Pray for my brave husband. We're taking it one day at a time." I only know because I hear Ashley show it to a nurse in the hallway. By day 3, the mask slips. She forgets to pull the blanket back up after the techs finish repositioning me, leaving me shivering under the AC vent. When I ask if she can get someone to check my meds, she scrolls on her phone for 10 minutes, then says, "They're busy, Jack. You're not the only patient here." One afternoon, she knocks a cup of ice water onto my chest and just leaves it, says, "Oops," laughs, then turns the TV up. To the staff, she's still a saint. 2 of her friends, Ashley and Nicole, stop by one evening with coffee and gossip. They stand at the foot of the bed like they're visiting a museum exhibit. "He looks so fragile," Ashley whispers. Nicole sighs. "At least you'll be taken care of, Kel, once the settlement hits." Kelly doesn't bother pretending I'm awake. "Yeah," she says. "Brandon says the uninsured motorist coverage could be huge. $500,000 if it's handled right. Plus whatever we squeeze out of the life insurance claim if..." She trails off, but not in a way that feels comforting. They laugh. They leave. Not one of them looks me in the eye on the way out. Nights are different. That's when Emily takes over. Night nurse, late 20s, hair in a loose bun, sneakers that squeak just enough to give her away before she walks in. "You're not sleeping," she says one night, checking my vitals. "Hard to," I rasp. My voice is getting a little stronger. "Wife's running a sideshow." Her eyes flick to me, quick and sharp. "I'm not asking," she says. "But if something's off, blink twice." I hold her gaze and blink. Once, twice. She nods just a fraction. "Noted." Later that week, Kelly comes in late, smells like wine and someone else's cologne. She thinks I'm out. I keep my breathing slow. She pulls her phone out, dials. "Hey, baby," she coos. "Yeah, I'm here." No, he's not going anywhere. Brandon's voice is faint, but I catch enough. Did you talk to the lawyer about power of attorney? He asks. I'm working on it, she says. The doctor thinks he's too out of it to make decisions. Once I have that, we can move faster. What about the insurance? He pressed. She sighs like this is all tedious paperwork. His adjuster friend said with the hit and run and his condition, the uninsured motorist payout could be massive. We just have to make sure it comes to me. House, accounts, everything in my name. Brandon, I told you, this is our shot. They talk numbers. My future as a line item. 200 here, 500 there. $500,000 if all the right boxes get ticked. I lie there, counting breaths, memorizing every word. When she finally leaves, I stare at my right hand. I focus on the index finger like I used to focus on claim photos, detail, patience, pressure. Move. Nothing. Move. A flicker. So small I'd miss it if I wasn't hunting for it. There. Again. Tiny, stubborn twitch. I do the same with my toes. It takes days before I see the faintest shift under the sheet. It's not much. Not close to walking. But it's a function. It's mine. By the end of the second week, my legs are dead weight. But my hands answer better. My voice doesn't crack as much, and my suspicion about that crash isn't suspicious anymore. They didn't just get lucky with a bad night and a dark road. They planned it, and they think I'm stuck here, helpless, waiting for whatever they do next. Good. Let them. The night I decide I'm done playing furniture, the ward is quiet enough that I can hear the clock tick. Kelly went home 3 hours ago, exhausted from her day of performing saint of the crippled husband. Emily did her rounds, checked my chart, gave me a long look like she knows I'm chewing on something, then moved on. I stare at the hospital phone on the rolling tray. My fingers work now. Not perfect, but enough. I inch my hand over, drag the tray closer, fumble the receiver up to my ear. It feels like lifting a cinder block. I jab at the keypad with my thumb. Megan answers on the second ring. Yeah. I need help, I whisper. Tonight. No questions. Which exit? 2 hours later, she appears in the doorway in navy scrubs, hair shoved under a beanie, ID badge from her clinic hanging off her pocket. She pushes a borrowed wheelchair in front of her like she's been doing this all her life. You look like shit, she says softly. Let's go. Emily forgets to log my bathroom trip. Megan unhooks what she can, tucks the rest under a blanket, and we move. Hallway, elevator, service corridor. Every doorway a coin flip. My arms shake from gripping the chair, but I keep my jaw locked. We made it to the parking lot. Her friend's wheelchair van is waiting, idling. Ramp down, belts on, doors shut. No alarms. No shouting. On the drive to her place, Megan glances at me in the mirror. Are you ready to stop being their victim? Little late for that, I grunt. I'm aiming higher. The next morning, she drops me at a narrow stairwell behind a sandwich shop. Ryan Cooper's name is on a frosted glass door at the top. Megan muscles the chair up each step while I hang on and try not to pass out. Inside, it smells like stale coffee and mustard. Ryan looks older than when we worked together, same eyes, more lines. Jesus, Jack, he says. You find a new way to get time off? I give him the short version. Birthday insult. Cancelled party. The late night call. The crash. The hit and run. Kelly's bedside jokes. The whispered plans with Brandon. The insurance numbers. He listens without interrupting, pen tapping the desk. When I'm done, he leans back. You know how this sounds, he says. Yeah, I replied. Like a bad TV movie. Check it anyway. He studies me for a long beat, then nods once. 2 questions. Are you willing to hear it if you're wrong? I'm not. Good, he says. Second. You sure you want to know how deep this goes? I need 2 things, I say. Who hit my truck, and where my money went. Ryan grins, humorless. Then we follow the metal and the money. For the first time since the crash, I feel something close to solid ground under me. Ryan works the way I used to work a suspicious claim. Slow, quiet, thorough. I'm not in the field with him, But every afternoon he shows up at Megan's kitchen table with coffee, printouts, and that look people get when they've started tugging on a loose thread and found it sewn into everything. "First," he says, flipping a bank statement toward me, "your wife got real generous with your money." I scan the highlighted lines. Spikes in spending the last 6 months. Designer crap she never mentioned. Dinners in Portland, hotel charges, jewelry. Then one jumps out. Boston. The same weekend I'd booked for her surprise trip. "Recognize the dates?" he asks. "Yeah," I say. "She went. Just not with me." He doesn't argue. Next stack is Brandon. Public records, lawsuits, foreclosure notices. His empire is rotting. Properties underwater. Judgments pending. Credit lines strangled. "Your boy's not a 6-figure stud," Ryan says. "He's a polished bankrupt with good lighting." Then he lays down the police report from my crash. "I know that format like I know my own handwriting. Paint transfer on your truck," he says. "Dark blue metallic. The witness thinks it was a sedan or coupe, newer model." 3 days later, Brandon's BMW gets front-end work done at a body shop in the next county. Paid cash. He taps the invoice. Color code matches. The last pile is uglier. Kelly's event planning business. Ryan shows me invoices for weddings, corporate galas, anniversary parties. Thick folders of jobs that never happened, according to the venues. Money routed from her clients and our joint account into her LLC. Then venue fees paid to a shell company under Brandon's control. Ballpark, Ryan says. They've washed at least 200 grand. Clients cheated. Marriage looted. Hit and run as a kickoff, not a climax. They didn't just cheat on me. They ran a long con, and turning my truck into scrap metal was just step 1 in their payout plan. Ryan's good, but I know better than to bet my life on one man and a stack of printouts. Paper proves fraud. It doesn't stop murder. So I call Tom Harris. Tom's an old-school lawyer with yellow pads instead of tablets and a necktie that's always half a knot from straight. He meets me at Megan's, eyes taking in the wheelchair, the bruises, the way I have to use my arms like a crane just to adjust myself. "You look terrible," he says. Which, legally, I like. We get to work. I revoke every power of attorney Kelly ever had. Update the will. Move what's left of my accounts to a new bank under a trust with Megan as backup. House title, beneficiary forms, insurance contacts, everything gets scrubbed of her name. By the time she finds out, Tom says, stacking the signed pages, you'll be a lot less profitable to kill. Music to my ears. Meanwhile, Ryan widens the net. He adds audio to the surveillance, perfectly legal with my consent, perfectly invisible to them. He tails them to a restaurant 2 towns over, plants the tech, then lets them talk. Megan and I listen to the recordings that night at her kitchen table. Kelly's voice, casual over clinking glasses. "He's not as helpless as he looks. I don't like it. Brandon. Hospitals make mistakes all the time. Morphine, oxygen, infection. You just have to let it happen." They say my life insurance number out loud. $750,000 for accidental death. Add the crash settlement, the fraud money they haven't burned yet. Over $1 million, Kelly says, like she's discussing a remodel. I sit there, staring at the cheap laminate table, hearing my own murder reduced to math. When the recording ends, I know what I need to do. I check myself back into the hospital under the guise of complications. When Kelly shows up, I let my head sag, let my voice go thin. "Maybe I should stop fighting," I mumble. "Just let go." For half a second, before she remembers her lines, I see it. Hope. Founders Day always smells like fried dough, cheap beer, and denial. This year, it smells like opportunity. I step out of Megan's car with a cane and a slow, deliberate gait. People stare. Last they heard, I was half dead and still in a hospital bed. Now I'm upright, not pretty, but vertical. That'll do. Megan falls beside me. Ryan's already here somewhere, blending into the crowd with a ball cap and a plastic cup. Tom's with the police chief near the bandstand. We've all had the same conversation. Let him confront them, then you move. Kelly and Brandon are easy to find. Center of the park, near the raffle booth. She's accepting hugs and sympathy like flowers at a funeral. He's in a fitted jacket and sunglasses, holding her like he's earned the right. She spots me first. Color drains out of her face so fast I almost feel bad for her. Almost. Jack? She croaks. What are you? How are you? I let my voice carry. Walking. Funny what happens when you stop planning your husband's funeral and start paying attention to rehab. People turn. Good. Witnesses. You want to impress? I say. Let's try this. Kelly Miller. This is the part where I thank you for calling me unimpressive. It made me cancel your country club party, move our joint savings, and install cameras in my own damn house. Murmurs. Heads swivel. I step closer, cane tapping asphalt. You and Brandon hit my truck with his dark blue BMW. Bodywork 3 days later, paid cash. You laundered over 200 grand through fake event invoices into his shell company. You sat in diners and hospital rooms planning my accidental overdose while you counted my life insurance. Brandon snaps. You're delusional, Jack. She upgraded. You were broke. I cut in. Like your properties. Like your credit. Like your future. His hand flashes out, aiming for my chest. I sidestep, painful but doable, and drive the cane into his solar plexus. Air leaves him in a soft, shocked grunt. That's when I hear it. Police! Don't move! Chief and 2 officers push through the circle. Ryan right behind them, holding a folder. Brandon Cole, Kelly Miller. The chief says, voice hard. You're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and attempted homicide. The crowd erupts, shouts, gasps, phones up. Kelly's eyes lock on mine as they cuff her. Not impressive enough, I say quietly. Remember, now the whole town does. The trial takes 3 weeks. I don't testify from a wheelchair. I walk in on my cane. The prosecutor lays it all out. The fraud trail, the shell companies, the blue paint on my truck, the body shop invoice, the recordings where my death is a line item between New Kitchen and Napa in the fall. The jury doesn't like them. You can feel it. Brandon goes first. His lawyer tries to spin him as a misguided businessman. The recordings kill that fast. 15 years. Attempted homicide and fraud. No parole for a while. Kelly's lawyer leans on tears and emotional manipulation. The recordings kill that too. 10 years. Conspiracy, theft, fraud. She looks at me when they read the sentence, like I'm supposed to save her one more time. I look right through her. The insurance company claws back a good chunk of what they stole, then does something rare, they cut me a check. Pain, suffering, lifetime adjustment. Not a fortune, but enough to start over without begging anyone. I don't leave town. Brandon's family sells off his rotting properties. Kelly's name becomes a warning, not a compliment. I stay in my small house, fix it up one project at a time, and hang a plain metal sign over a rented office. Miller Investigations, Insurance, and Domestic Cases. Ryan sends me overflow work. Cops send me people who can't afford him. I sit across from men and women who think they're crazy for suspecting what they already know, and I help them prove it. Paperwork, cameras, timelines. Reliability weaponized. One afternoon, Tiffany shows up. Different hair, same guilt. I'm so sorry, Jack, she says. I never meant. When I said you weren't impressive. You were right, I say. I don't drive a BMW. I don't fly to Napa. I'm just the guy who caught 2 thieves, survived their hit, and helped put them away. I stand, offer my card. I'm also the guy people call now when they need the truth. She swallows. That is impressive. I shrug, can't help the small smile. How's that?